Hi, I'm Liz, a librarian at the Grand Rapids Public Library. Thank you for tuning in to our Summer Reading Challenge event today with Blandford. We have an exciting story and some fun songs and all kinds of cool information today. But first, a special thank you to the Grand Rapids Public Library Foundation, whose generous support funds programs like this and many more at the library. Let's start with a song. This song is called The More That We Learn Science. And we have some fun movements with it because today we're learning a lot about science and animals. So we go, the more that we learn science, learn science, learn science. The more that we learn science, the happier we'll be. We'll know things and do things and explore lots of new things. The more that we learn science, the happier we'll be. I love science. I hope you do too. Today we're learning about toads. And our story is called A Hippy Hoppy Toad. There we go, the hippy hoppy toad. I think I see our friend right here. In the middle of a puddle, in the middle of a road, on a teeter-totter twig sat a teeny tiny toad. Snap went the twig, up went the toad. Uh-oh. And he landed on a tree by the side of the road. On the raggy shaggy tree by the side of the road, on the rough bark, sat the teeny tiny toad. Peck went a bird. Uh-oh. Jump went the toad, and he tumbled to a flower in the park by the road. All those flowers. On a fuzzy yellow flower in the hush-rush breeze sat the teeny tiny toad in the shadow of the trees. Buzz went a bee, hop went the toad, and he jumped to the grass at the side of the road. There's our toad friend, and there's some grass. In the slippy slappy grass where the toad sat still was a happy snappy cricket with a sing-song trill. Chirp went the cricket. Tree went the toad, and he chased the chirpy cricket to the gravel down the road. In the stony gritty gravel by the shade of the road in the calm quiet morning sat the hippy happy toad. Woof went a dog. Uh-oh. Puff went the toad. Uh-oh. That's what toads do when they're scared sometimes. They make themselves look bigger. They go puff like that. Then he hopped to the top of a stone by the road. There he goes. He looks scared. Uh-oh. On the flat stone in the warm, still air lay a tough, scruff lizard with a sharp, steady stare. Slink went the lizard. Blink went the toad. And he hip-hop-plopped to the dry, dusty road. Down the dry, dusty road where the toad crept along under bunchy, crunchy leaves came an easy, breezy song. Whoosh went the wind. Swoosh went the toad. Oh no! And he flew to a leaf hanging close to the road. Round the flippy-flappy leaf came a whirlwind gust and a huff-puff wind with a cloud of dust. What do you think this is happening? Someone is walking through the woods. Bump went a shoe. Thump went the toad, and he landed on the sneaker as it ran down the road. Oh, that's why there was dust. They were running. Past the flippy-flappy leaf, down a dry, dusty road, through the bunchy, crunchy leaves, round a flat stone, through the stony, gritty gravel by the slippy-slappy grass, past a fuzzy yellow flower and a raggy, shaggy tree. Went the bump-thump sneaker with the teeny tiny toad hanging on for the ride as they raced down the road. The shoe went zag, the toad went zig. And he sailed through the air to a teeter-totter twig. In the middle of a puddle, in the middle of a road, on a teeter-totter twig sat a teeny tiny toad. That's the end. Right where we started. So parents, I have a quick tip for you, and it's about talking. Talking with your child and telling stories can help stretch a conversation. And with each conversation, your child learns new information and new words. This helps them to get ready to read. A great time to practice this creative storytelling is when you're outside on a walk, or especially in a nature center or out in a park, and you find something and you create a story about it. So for instance, you could find a possum and name it Walter or Eugenie or Elsbieta, something fun that's memorable, and then you have the bond of, or the bonus of having a bond that comes from telling a story together that kids will remember forever and ever. So for context, my mother told me a story about Elsbieta as a kid, and I still remember it to this day. It's a really fun thing to do with your kids, and it's a great thing to do with your family. But now, I have a friend. This is Miriam. And do you know what Miriam is? A toad. I have a little toad, her name is Miriam. I put her in the bathtub to see if she could swim. She drank up all the water, she gobbled up the soap, and when she tried to croak, she had bubbles in her throat. All right, well, we had a lot of fun today. Thank you for tuning in. And now we're going to see Blandford tell us all about toads. Isn't that cool? I love toads. All right, see you later.
This is our female American toad, Tallulah. And Tallulah lives at Blandford Nature Center because when she was living out in the wild, she was living in someone's backyard. And she was using her camouflage really, really well. And I bet when you're looking at her, hopefully you're thinking, well, she wasn't camouflaged with the grass. No, she was camouflaging with everything below the grass, the soil, the pebbles, the twigs. And so the human that owned the lawn where she was living was mowing that lawn and did not see Tallulah because of her incredible camouflage. And that human accidentally nicked her left eyelid with their lawnmower. So when you look at Tallulah straight on, you can see that her left eye is down and smaller quite a bit more than the right eye. And there are two reasons why that does affect her permanently in a way that we can't release her into the wild to live on her own anymore. Number one, she doesn't have the best vision on that side. And you and I can kind of mimic what it's like to look in a similar way that she can see with those eyes by looking out with our normal eyes and seeing what we can see. And then if we create a little keyhole with our hand and put that over our eye, now try to look around and look at how much of the world around you that hand is blocking. All that damaged tissue around her eye is blocking those portions of her vision. And as a prey animal, she has eyes on the side, so she can run and hide, so that she can see the world around her. So not having the best vision is going to make it difficult for her to see when a predator is approaching her, or to see when food is wiggling on that side of her. But the other really important part of her eyelid is its ability to help her swallow her food. Yeah, I know that sounds really crazy because as humans, do we use our eyeballs to swallow our food? No. So the reason I say it helps swallow the food is, number one, think about an American toad. Do you think they have teeth to chew their food up? No. So she can't chew her worms or her millipedes or her centipedes or roly-polies with her teeth. And do you think when it's time for her to eat, do we give her a Barbie fork and knife to cut her food up? No. So in the wild, these guys are eating whole food. They're not breaking them apart. They're not chewing them up. They're whole-bodied insects. And so what they'll do is the muscle above their eyelid will push the eyeball down, and inside their skull are cavities that go deep down almost towards the throat, so that when the muscles push the eyeballs down, the eyeballs push the food down the throat and then pop right back up. And it happens so fast that if you blink your eyes while a toad or a frog is eating, you will literally miss it. So you stick your tongue out, pull them, and then they pop right back up. Isn't that amazing? But for her, because she's missing that left eyelid, it makes it hard for the left side of her mouth to push that food down. So then she ends up using her little toad hand to shove it in. She doesn't use her fingers like we would to grab it and press it, but she'll kind of rub around until the worm gets pushed into her mouth. But just like we said that her story started in someone's backyard, you can find American toads in your own backyard. They're very common in Michigan, which means they're finding good places as their habitat for hunting for food, all of those insects that live on or under the soil. They're looking for healthy nesting areas like vernal ponds or existing ponds like marshes and swamps. and they need to find a safe place to overwinter. And so if you're finding American toads in your own backyard during the summer, that might be their summer site. But they might go somewhere deeper into the forest where the soil is a little more loose and easy to bury themselves for the winter. Now, a couple things we want to talk about with American toads. We've already talked about their incredible power with their eyes. But looking at all those warts, that's where that old wives' tale of, if a toad pees on you, it's going to give you warts, came from. And that's just not true. Because when toads pee on us, they're really just releasing water. And I've never gotten warts from water. Have you? So for them, the reason why they pee on us is they hope that when they pee on us, we go, ah! And we drop them onto the ground and they can hop away. Imagine if you were a predator and you put a toad in your mouth, like a fox or a raccoon or a dog. Right here, these glands on the back of their heads will release a little bit of toxin. But that takes a while for that predator's mouth to detect the toxin. So peeing is an immediate way to get a reaction from the predator. Imagine again, if you're one of those predators I listed, and you have a toad in your mouth, and it peed right in your mouth. You're gonna go, "Ugh!" and spit it out. "Ugh!" And then again, the toad has the ability to hop away. Isn't that amazing? So thank you so much for letting me introduce you guys to Tallulah, our female American toad.